Folks, I don't know how many are paying attention to this. The idea of Vivek Ramaswamy surging maybe into second place appears to be nothing more than an evaporated fantasy of times gone by. What am I talking about? Well, it is not even a surge that we are now seeing from Vivek Ramaswamy. He has now solidly fallen behind Nikki Haley into fourth place. This is very exciting for the Republicans that believe Nikki Haley has what it takes to be the nominee. I don't know how many people think that. I know it's a few, but the numbers are quite stunning. So let's look at them. First and foremost, what is the big picture of the 2024 Republican presidential nomination right now? Trump is leading by 44. Trump says he's leading by 60. He's not, but he is leading by 44. I believe this is an insurmountable lead, but I will make that case to you momentarily. Ron DeSantis, who at one point had 31% of the primary electorate, is now down to 13. 31, 13, 18. So basically, he's lost close to 2/3 support. Okay. Nikki Haley has now gone from 1% to almost 8%. Nikki Haley is the candidate that has grown her support on a percentage basis by more than any other candidate in this race. And meanwhile, the candidate that has suffered the most is Vivek Ramaswamy. If you look at Google Trends data, people searching, this is how I do searching like this, searching Google for Vivek Ramaswamy, peaked the day after the first Republican debate and has collapsed. After the second Republican debate, nobody was Googling Vivek Ramaswamy, confirming that his performance was one of the worst on that stage as I evaluated it. And it is now the case that Vivek Ramaswamy is in danger of falling into fifth place if he isn't careful. And meanwhile, Nikki Haley is pulling away. Every single day, Nikki Haley's polling is improving. Now, what about, this is national. National, it's Trump 57, DeSantis 13, Nikki Haley almost 8, Vivek 5. What about in any individual primary? Is there any individual primary in which Nikki Haley may be able to get a result that justifies staying in the race? And the answer is yes. Now, I still think Trump will be the nominee, but I'm making the case that the Haley supporters are making. Nikki Haley has now surpassed Ron DeSantis in New Hampshire. This is from Politico. Haley beats DeSantis 19-10 in a new Suffolk University, Boston Globe, USA Today poll released yesterday morning. Now, they are both behind Trump. Importantly, Trump has 49%, then it's Haley 19 and DeSantis 10. But if you were trying to find a path, at least theoretical or hypothetical, to not to the nomination, but simply to staying into this thing into March to Super Tuesday, you need to have at least a strong showing somewhere. And a strong second place above DeSantis and everybody other than Trump in New Hampshire, again, I'm being as optimistic as I can on this thing, is the best that Nikki Haley apparently could hope for right now. So that is also an extraordinarily interesting result. Now, if we look more generally at what's going on in general election polling, the latest general election poll from Survey USA of 2,300 likely voters has Biden and Trump even at 43. Now, quick math, 43 times 2, 3 times 2 is 6. That's 86. That leaves 100 minus 86, 0, cross out 4. That's 14% of the electorate. You like my math there? Not accounted for in that poll. And what that means is that it is way too early to say that the general election polling is anything approximating definitive. Now, let's take a look at a different question, which is, David, it's October 5th of the year before the election. How accurately do polls today historically predict who will ultimately be the nominee? Well, let's just look at it. Last election in 2020, on October 5th, Biden was winning the Democratic primary, but barely. Elizabeth Warren was very close. Biden did ultimately become the nominee. If we go back to 2016, at this point, October 5, 2015, Hillary was winning the primary polling and did become the nominee. And at this exact same stage in the 2016 Republican primary, Trump was winning and did become the nominee. Well, let's go back further. What about October 5th of 2011, where Mitt Romney ultimately became the nominee? Well, October 5th of 2011, Mitt Romney was also leading the polls and he became the nominee. But when you go beyond that, you see a different trend. In 2008, Rudy Giuliani at this point in time was leading by quite a bit, the Republican primary, did not become the nominee. John McCain did. So that's an example. In 2008, on the Democratic primary side, Hillary Clinton was winning at this stage of the primary. Barack Obama ultimately became the nominee. So that's the history of it. What we can say is it usually is indicative of who will be the nominee, who is leading on October 5th, but not always. The additional wrinkle here is one of the Republican candidates, Trump, happens to be a former president. And that is not a situation that we have modern polling data for. So my belief is that Trump is going to easily win this thing unless something I can't even conceive of takes place. That's where I am right now, open to hearing other views from people in the audience.